China has vowed to take countermeasures against the United States if it is indeed bent on putting more tariffs on Chinese goods. The warning came after U.S. President Donald Trump threatened to impose a 10% tariff on $300 billion worth of Chinese goods. These would take effect from the 1st of September.
Well, they come on top of the 25% tariffs on $250 billion in imports already in place. The announcement means virtually all of the $660 billion in annual trade between the world's two biggest economies will have tariffs on it, and Mr. Trump later raised the possibility he could increase the duties even further.
Beijing's Commerce Ministry said in a statement that the move was a serious violation of a truce, and that was Mr. Trump reached with Chinese President Xi Jinping last June. Now for more, let's cross over to Olivia Xiong in Beijing. Olivia, China is a warning of the possible countermeasures against the new U.S. tariffs. So what could these look like?
Well, the Commerce Ministry has not given any further details on what specific measures China could take, but it is saying that whatever steps that will be taken moving forward will be to protect the nation's core interests. And there are a few things that China could pull out of its bag. The first, it could raise tariff rates on existing U.S. goods that it has levied duties on. Up till now, China has imposed tariffs on about $110 billion worth of U.S. goods, with tariff rates of up to 25%. So this, moving forward, could be taken further. The second option that it has is to cut exports to the U.S. of rare earth materials. As we know, China accounts for about 80% of the rare earth global supply. And by cutting back on exports to the U.S., this could affect U.S. production of high-tech goods and technology as well. Now, the third option that China has is to finally announce its unreliable entities list. Now, we had first heard about this list at the end of May after the U.S. put Chinese telecom giant Huawei on a trade blacklist. Now, the list says, China says, targets foreign entities, companies, or people who they deem to have hurt the legitimate interest of Chinese firms by not following market rules. And there's widespread speculation that U.S. companies could be put on this list and effectively cut out of the Chinese market, even though Chinese officials have sought to allay such concerns. So China does have a few options and a few cards that it can play. Analysts are saying that it is likely to be very deliberate about its next move, and it's likely to play this out one by one and possibly even drag this until the 2020 U.S. presidential election.